quick exercises in painting in watercolour, and we're going to do a series on skies. So put a lot of water on. I'm painting on Bockingford watercolour paper, £140 in weight, and you can see what's happening. The speed is everything. Just drop the colour in, let the water merge it, and trust the water. I can't impress on you enough that you can overcome your fear of water, and it'll dry about 50% later. So a lot later than that actually. So got to just, there we go. Now that's a simple blue sky. Now what I'm going to do down here, something similar again. We're going to, let's wet the paper. And then let's get an ultramarine blue again. It's ultramarine blue again. Big enough brush, see? That's, you don't want a small brush, you don't want to be patting it. You want to get these sweeps and, right. Now, if I was to mix some burnt umber with this blue, you'll get more of like a cloud colour. You see that? Like a dark? That's burnt umber and the ultramarine blue, but it's giving, and see, so this, now I've got more blue than the burnt umber, but it just shows you how you can get sort of sultry, sort of, you know, overcast skies, sense of drama. So that's just ultramarine blue. Now what I'm going to do is soak this up with the brush, take the excess water out, just like that, soak it up, or if not, that part will dry before this, and it'll draw the water up and create a stain, you know, a big stain in the sky. Don't want that. Right, let's come on to this one now. I'm going to use sort of warmer colours on here now. So I've got raw sienna, and I've got a mountain in profile here. So I'm just, and this is where you have to really trust the water, that it won't go any further than there. And I'm working at a very steep angle. So let's get some cadmium red in here. And yeah, warm, oh, that's better, isn't it? That's like a warmer colour now, see. Now those. So now if I get blue again, let's get the blue. See what happens. See now, if I hit the blue, the blue will merge with the red and create like a mauve. And what I'll do, if I get a darker in here against this mountain, then what I can do is get the mountain light, and it'll be shining against this dark sky. So let's just merge it all back there. And now then, let's get a sunset down here now. Let's get a sunset here. Let's have a look. So I want yellow, cadmium yellow, with a bit of sienna. Let's wet it again. So you've got to wet it all the time. Right, okay, that's enough. Let's get the cadmium yellow with the sienna. And there we go. And then I'm going to get cadmium red to go on top of it like that. And I might get it to go underneath at the bottom as well. So I've got a band of yellow over there. And what it means when I put the blue on now, the blue won't be anywhere near the yellow, so the blue won't turn to green. Okay? And then I can also put the blue on the bottom here as well. I'll show you what we'll do now in a minute. Right, well now we've done that, let's get I'm getting a synthetic brush, and I'm going to have neat paint, hardly any water, not much water at all, and I've got light red, and I've got ultramarine blue, and let's just see what happens here now. Because it's darker, bear in mind it's going to dry a lot later. Okay, watercolours, I'm going to allow for that. That's why sometimes they can look so insipid, because people haven't allowed for the drying time. And how it's going to dry that much later. So there we go. Now, let's get a little bit in here as well, I think. So I'm using the brush that sideways, so it's fine. And yeah, so that would be more of a watercolour sunset. Let's soak that up there so we don't get any runs, and there we go. Second session now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a headland. So I've just dropped a little bit of green really, and I'm using colours that are already on my palette. So right, let's put a bit of a headland up here. Now I've got masking tape below here. When I take the masking tape off, I'll have a crisp line. See, so that's all you want really for a headland. Bear in mind that's going to dry quite light up. What I could do, I've taken the excess water out and just soak that up in places, and it'll be lighter then here and there. Okay, so that's it. Now I'll do a bit of a headland here as well. And let's keep it to the blue side more. So I'm putting a lighter blue in first. Let's go for the darker blue. A little bit, what I've got is a little bit of cadmium red with it, really. And so there we are. So it's only a profile I'm doing because it's an exercise in skies. But I've got a low horizon, so that you can at least put a bit of foreground with it. Now then, let's come to this mountain. I was thinking about having it quite light. You'll see what I mean now. You see how that will register light against that sky. We'll get this in now. Give me a second. There we are. See, so I got that dark against that light, this light against that dark. And, you know, the water's doing the work, really. I'm just dropping these colours in, pushing them around a little bit. And let's have a look. I'm going to get it dark there. So you're playing dark against light, light against dark, and for effect. There we are. And what I could do is get a little rigger brush with a bit more. So I'm not using much water in this at all. It's quite neat. So it's very little water. Watch what will happen now. If I drop that in there, it'll merge. But it will give you a sense of variation, crags, what have you. Now how simple is that really? And there's a mountain. And now, I don't want to do much at this point here because it's going to be a sunset, but what I want is like down in Suffolk, where you get these fields, low fields with water courses, and you can then, so I'm just flicking it up like that. Yeah, a fan brush would do that, but you can do it with this, it wouldn't matter. And I think what I'll do, I'll just get a bit of variation in here. So what I'm doing is putting, like, there's a branch or a bush, a bush, we'll have some branches coming out. And then I can mix a bit of dark then. If light's going to come from there, we can put some darks on this side. Just like that. Not overworking it. And really, that's the foreground. Our third session here now. So what I'm going to do is just show you how. Now, if I use the brush on its side, what you'll do, you'll get this drag effect, and you can get a sparkle, like just like you get sometimes on a sunny day where there's a sparkle on the water. So I'm rushing it, but you could take your time using the brush on its side like that. Then what we'll do, we'll just go for this one up here. And I'm going to put a little bit of yellow with this now, so it's a different kind of blue. It's more like, because it's an overcast sort of day, I put a little bit of raw sienna with it. And then what I'll do up here now, we'll again get the blue in here. I'm working along because they're exercises, really, just giving you an idea of different technique. Now what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to have the yellow, and you're working the sky more or less in reverse. Well, you start with the yellow, then you come on to the cadmium red, and then the blue, ultramarine blue, down the bottom. So you're working that in reverse there now. Could do a little bit more cadmium red, I think, to warm it up a bit more. Again, I'm betting in mind it's going to dry a lot later. So see, now I'm going to come back now onto here, and what I need is a good sort of beach colour, which raw sienna will do. That will do it, really. We'll do the similar here. It's going to mix into it now because it's still wet. Normally I'd use a hairdryer or give it time, or coffee, come back. But you got the idea. Now, I want like a green here now. We're going to have grass along here. I can come in with this with a rigger. I can get different coloured grasses in, and I'm mixing a darker colour. There we go. That's great. So I've got a bit of variation in there now. So it's not all in one. And what I'm going to do, because you've got a warmth in the sky, we need to introduce that here, really, in the foreground. So you've got that warmth in here. There we go. And here now, I want to mix a dark green, because what I'm going to have is, there we are. So you've got this. I should have let this dry a lot longer, but we're just motoring along doing a bit of an exercise, and it gives you an idea. Now, when it does dry, if I was to get a rigger brush, I can get the fine detail in here and what you have up here. But we'll go for it this way. Why not? I'm going to get light red. Now, if you put some uprights in here, down in Suffolk, you get a lot of these by the coast, but it gives a bit of interest straight away. And because this is stronger paint, if I put it, I haven't got much water with this. If I put it on the base, then you can see what's happening there. You see that? There we go. Okay. And what I need to do now is get just a little bit, not much, just, you know, the sort of the wet sand by here. This is going out. I'm getting some clean water to mix in with that. There we go. And I'm going to put a bit of a headland in there. Not much. And we're more or less done here now in terms of what I want to do. Just to give you some idea of technical watercolour. I can put some water with that if I want to mix it in softer. But there we go. That's the last session, and we leave that there. This is the finished exercise in watercolour. Sort of more on the cold colour of skies there with just the blues, blue and umber, blue and umber on that one. And then warmer skies here, I'm going to do some cadmium red. Here's more like a sunset. And I've just accentuated a little bit with stronger paint at the end. And so no one in particular, just exercises. And that's what you've got to do. Work small, because then the drying time is always a problem with watercolour. You've got to be quick enough for parts start to dry. So if you keep small, you've got less of an area to work with, and it's that's more manageable. So there we go.